Alright, amazing viewers, this is Booberski's ultimate destination for virtual adventures. Today we're going to continue building our adventure, and that's our adventure game. For those of you who didn't join us last week, I will throw down the video in the description below, where we comprise together this beautiful masterpiece of an adventure game. I mean, it's not the best game, but we do have a monster that is moving. We have a character that we can move around. We have some boundaries, as in we can't move off the screen. And we have some rocks that are going to provide some obstruction for the player as well as the monster. Pretty cool. Now these collectibles don't really do anything as of yet, and our character doesn't really animate at all. So I think next step I want to do is change our character. Let's jump over to one of my favorite sites to get assets, and one I highly suggest, itch.io/assets. Let's jump over there. Now this site is a site full of tile sheets as well as character animation sprites. Bunch of different character art. There's games here. There's just a ton of stuff that creators have came together, created, and put up for people to either purchase through donations or purchase through a set price. Now, if you look through this site, you can evaluate, if things are free or how much they cost. This one, for example, costs $19. But it's got a great rating. It's probably for some more advanced graphics. This one, looks pretty cool. It's got some animating doors. There's lots of different stuff in here. The one that I'm concerned with today, and the one that we're going to use for our tutorial, is this Mystic Woods one. So I will put the website up on the screen. Feel free to come here and grab this. So many people have contributed, and I highly suggest it if you do find this useful. These artists have put a lot of time and effort into this stuff. So if you just click this download tab, right here is where you can make your donation for the art kit. If you can't afford to, I totally understand, times are tough. You can click on this no thank you, just take me to the download section and then download through this button right here. Now I already have this tool or this downloaded already. It does come as a zip file, and once you've unzipped it, it'll just come into a folder as so. The one that we're interested in is the sprites folder. Within the sprites folder are 4 other folders. We want to look within the character folder. And the one that we want to grab is this player sprite. Now, as you can see, it has all different animations for movement, different directions. This is perfect for our type of game. Okay, so inside of our games files, we have our player sprite now with all our different character animations. So I'm going to take this player sprite and I'm going to open it within Paint. There's a couple things I'm going to do within Paint. One thing I want to do is I want to see the size of the image. So we take the resize tab, you can check the horizontal width of it and the vertical parameter of the size of the image in pixels. Okay, so we know that it's going to be 288 pixels in width and 480 pixels in height. So if I open up another Paint here, oops, and I'm going to create a line like this. Okay. And create another line like this. We know that it is going to be 488 pixels in height. No, it's 480 pixels in height and 280 pixels in width, I believe. But let's check this after. Okay. Okay. So this is what, so far we know this information. We know that this is the case. Because if we check this, it says it is 288 in horizontal and 488, right? What we don't know is we don't know the size of each one of these images. We just know the size of the total image. So how do we figure that out? Well, we just simply count the images and divide. So let's take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 horizontally. So we're going to take this number right here, and we're going to divide this number by 6, right? And vertical might be a little bit different though. So vertical looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 images in height. The nice thing is I can do my math in my head with 10 divisibles with 10. So this right here is going to be 48. Because 10 divided by or 480 divided by 10 is 48, and then 6 by 288, let's just double check, but I have a good feeling that it's going to be the same number. Divided by 6 equals 48. Surprise, surprise. So we have verified now that our images are 48 pixels by 48 pixels in size based on our graph, right? So we now know this. That's all we need to do in Paint. So let's keep this file open though, just so we know. We do need to reference it at some point. It is going to be important, and we are going to need to look at our character sheet once again. So just leave this handy if you can. And next, we're going to go over to our trusty little site, ChatGPT. OpenAI.com. If you guys haven't been here before, it's pretty simply just a chat program that you prompt questions and it gives you output. It's pretty much amazing. Helps me a lot with a lot of different things. Highly suggested if you haven't seen it. But anyways, let's check out our game. So our game file is right here. This is what happens when we load our game as of now. We have some ghosts, right? We want to change that around. So let's first open our file in Notepad, because that's what we do in this channel, is we code things in Notepad. And we're going to copy everything and Control-C it. Then we're going to go over here and we're going to say, hello, I have made a video game. Here is my current code. I want to add a different character image. I have an animation sprite of 6 images. Each image is 48 pixels by 48 pixels in size. Can you display the top left of the image for the default character down image? If idle, can you have the animation transition through 6 images? Transition through 6 images, all 48 pixels. Horizontally. The image is located images / player.png. So what I've done is I've given it its code and I said, okay, now I'm going to give you an entire image. It's big. I want you to only display 48 pixels by 48 pixels, and I want you to only display that as in reference to the top left of the image. Now I'm going to say, can you return the entire player class? So as you can see, we've done a class system. Our code is going to start getting a little more intricate as we've, begin to expand our game design, right? And this is going to get a little tricky to code, especially with ChatGPT, because it's only able to output so much information at one time. So one way to get around this is to break this structure down into sections, and one way to do that is to do it as a class system. So as you can see, we've done this is the player class, so it's going to return the entire player class now to us. And we can just simply go to our player class instead of having to copy over the entire file, because it won't be able to output that much code at one time pretty soon. It's just too much for it. Right after pumpkins right here. Sorry. So you just paste over that, you Control S, and then let's see what happens. So now, it's very small, but as you can see, our player is idly animating. He's eaten by a slime, but he's pretty sweet. He doesn't change directions yet, but this is step number 1. We just need to do one kind of step at a time. So as we look at our sheet, we displayed the top leftmost corner, and we displayed 48 pixels by 48 pixels. Then we said as the player remains idle, transition through 6 images by transitioning sideways or to the right 48 pixels. So we've only done this for the first row. So how we now need to get to the second row, and we need to do that when the player turns or presses a key to the right. So we need to tell it when the player presses a left or right key, set the default image to this image, and we're going to have to transition it down 48 pixels. And then we're going to have to do the exact same thing across, and then likewise we're going to go down for the up image, and then these ones are all for when they move. So we're just going to have to give it the position on this sprite and where to reference the starting point, and then we're going to go through as per usual the 6 images for each animation. Alright guys, so I asked it a couple times, a few different things. It's just outputting me not the full amount of code. It's giving me placeholder text. So I always say, return the entire class when you return. But I just want to tell you what I asked it. So I said, I want to change the player's character image based on the direction it is facing. All images will use the same image. And then for down, start at the top left image, displaying 48 by 48 like per usual. So we're just displaying that one image. Then I'm just saying for right, go down 48 pixels. For up, go down 96 pixels. And then we're just going to display it based on the direction, because initially we were just saying if the player's idle, cycle through these transitions. Now we're saying based on the direction the player's facing, assign a different image to the player object. And that's important because direction is important within this game. If we're going to be interacting with objects, we want to be facing those objects when we interact them. So direction is actually a valid thing to worry about. So I'm just going to copy the entire player class here. We're going to go to our games file in Notepad with Notepad, find our player class here, paste right over the player class, and hopefully this will work. So I want to get away from the slime. I know he can get obstructed. So as you can see, that works perfectly. So if he goes left, he's animating left. If he goes right, I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this. But he seems to be, he's not, we don't have his running animations active yet, but we just have his idle animations. Alright, so we now have some idle animations, but we need to add some animations for when the character's moving, and it needs to switch between idle and motion. Alright, so I went back to ChatGPT. I said, this works great. Mentioned it's good to reassure that it is doing the right thing, just so it does know. I said I want to add 4 more animations to the player object. One's for each direction they're facing, and one's for when they're moving, as well as keep the original ones. Pretty much what happened was it outputted me the the version of the code where the player was just like every direction that I pushed, the player would just run in that direction constantly. It wouldn't go back to the idle animation. So I decided to just start an entirely new chat and just say, you know what, I'm going to copy and paste this code into the chat window and say I want to start fresh, kind of give it some more clarity. It's good to do that sometimes. Sometimes it can get a little confused or go down the wrong direction. So it's important to kind of steer it back in the right direction. So yeah, so I copied the entire file. I said I want to change the player animation. Currently the run animation activates when the player presses a key and moves in a direction. I want this to remain, but I want it to only animate through when the key is being pressed. So what I'm saying there is, sorry, it only outputted half it, so I had to get it to output the entire thing. And it seems to be finished now. But yeah, so I told this, like, instead of, activating it when the key's pressed, only have it active while the key's being pressed. That's a critical difference. It was just toggling it on when I pressed the key, and it wouldn't toggle it off after the key was not being pressed anymore. That's a problem, right? So my guy was sitting there jogging on the spot nonstop. It would look kind of crazy. So let's see what happens here. Hopefully this will work out a little bit better. and we'll see what happens. So we gotta open this with a Notepad. We're gonna go over our player class like normal, which I believe is everything here. I'm gonna paste over this, Control S, and let's see what happens. And there's our character who's eaten by a slime. Oh, he did something different. Is it working? So there's our idle. So our idle animations are working, as you can see, and if we're running up, it seems to be working. We run sideways, it seems to be working. We run down, it seems to be working, and left seems to be working, guys. Our guy's fully animating and he's idle animating as well. Mind you, he's really, really small. If we wanted to have him a different size, obviously we just resize our entire sprite sheet and change the sizing accordingly. You know, it would no longer be 48 pixels down, it would be some different size. So make sure you do the math that would tell you. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope you guys learned something. And yeah, we were able to add some animations with sprites, which I've personally never done before with ChatGPT, so this is a learning experience for me. I hope you guys learned something, and as always, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. I don't know what's going to come at you next week. I think I might bring a new game to the table. I like to start new ones. It's kind of fun. And it makes it a little more, you know, exciting if you're not into RPGs and you don't know what's coming next, right? So it could be something that caters to you. Anyways, hope to see you guys in the next one, and as always, stay safe out there. Cheers.